Well, hi everybody, welcome to Afterburner. I'm Bill Whittle. Esquire Magazine just ran an article about the man who killed Osama bin Laden, and it's called The Shooter. And it brings up some troubling questions about a heroic man, his departure from the service, and the alleged shabby treatment he's getting as he transitions to civilian life in terms of his health care coverage, his employability, and his lifelong need for security, perhaps anonymity, in order to protect him from reprisals. Now, all of that is extremely important, and none of that is what I want to talk about today. You see, I know the shooter. Now, before we go another second, let me make it crystal clear that I do not know and have not met the man that actually pulled the trigger on Osama bin Laden, but it has been the singular honor of my life to have made friends with and gotten to know several of the men who do the exact same job that he does. I've been invited to the home of a naval special warfare operator for some tips on how to use a firearm. I've also spent many nights tipping beers with a top-level interrogator who gets us the information that allows these shooters to act. And I've spent hours and a lot of laughs with the people who detect and decipher these threats to our safety and who plan and execute these defensive operations that allow us to worry about our car payments and our sports teams and not about whether or not our buildings will collapse under our feet at work or whether or not our kids will get mortared or sniped on the way to school every day. Now, I'm not telling you this to brag. On the contrary, I'm simply saying this so that you know that the men and women who have to wade through this filth and blood and darkness are not only not cold-blooded killers, they are in every way better men than me. They're kinder, smarter, they're braver, they're more disciplined, and every time I meet another one of them, I am amazed and ashamed at how each of them raises the bar of my existence in regard to decency, competence, hard work, and patriotism. You know, my friend, the shooter, can balance a dime on the front sight of a handgun and dry fire round after round after round after round without the slightest wobble. Watching him reload a weapon and get it back out of what he calls his workspace back into firing position is like watching the hardtop convertible of a Mercedes-Benz deploy. Absolute, perfect mechanical precision, repeated again and again with the look of effortlessness that comes from perpetual effort. He trains like this while he watches movies with his equally patriotic and capable girlfriend, who many of you would recognize since she's one of the most beautiful women in television. And the efficiency and perfection of his actions leave me in awe and wonder, but that's not what makes the shooter so amazing. What makes him so amazing is his kindness, his quiet calm. Here's a man who I have watched on many occasions now sit at a large table full of blowhards like myself who go around telling tall tales of adventure, and then who simply nods and smiles and keeps to himself about the fact that once or twice or even sometimes 3 times an evening, he will arm himself and then fly or drive to the most dangerous address in the most dangerous part of the world and go in to bring out the worst people that have ever lived. He's quiet and kind, courageous and generous. He's decent and loving, and yet he is the most deadly creature that has ever walked this earth. It's not this way in other countries, you know, but it is largely true in the West, because in the West, these men and women are fundamentally happy and free people who self-select to protect what they've been given. But the people they go up against every day are not like this at all. Those people are sadists and torturers and rapists and mass murderers of children. They're the worst people in the world. They're people who plot day and night thinking of how to cause the most horror and terror to the most people. The men who work in our intelligence and special forces communities are not the same people. In my mind, they're not even the same species as the people who worked in the KGB or the Stasi or the Gestapo or any of the secret police societies and terrorist groups who daily, continuously attempt to do us harm. How these men and women go out there day after day into the sewers and the filth to fight the monster without becoming the monster is a miracle that I will never understand. But they do it so that we don't have to. And every single night, many of them, literally or figuratively, kiss their kids not goodnight, but goodbye. And then they go out and do their job so that we don't have to worry about making that kind of distinction every evening. Now, in my mind, there's nothing too good for these people, nothing. And if it were me, and I discovered that one of them had moved into my neighborhood and he and his family lived under threat of death for the rest of their lives, I would inform a few of my neighbors and I'd start a watch. And it would be my privilege to sit just down the street in my car for a few hours, 1 or 2 nights a month, for the rest of my life, armed with the weapons that free citizens hold, and do for them what they do for us. There are so few of them, and so many of us, you see. There are so very few of them.